I wasn't the best hitman in the world, but I was good enough to build a quiet reputation over about 8 years. It was a word-of-mouth business, a friend of a friend. You got a name, you made a discreet inquiry. That Tuesday, a couple came to see me. They were broken in that hollowed-out way people get. They slid a photo across my table. The man in it had hurt their daughter. The system had failed them. Money made the problem go away. I took the job for a fraction of my usual fee. Call it a moral compass discount. A week of surveillance, then I did it on a Saturday night. It was clean. I left before the body stopped moving. The drive home should have been the easy part. About 30 minutes outside the city, the road cuts through nothing, just dark fields and the occasional skeletal tree. I came up to a lonely crossroads, the kind with the old, bent stop signs, and I saw him. A man just standing right in the middle of the junction. Not walking, not hitchhiking, standing like he was waiting. I had to slam the brakes to avoid hitting him. My heart was hammering, not from fear of him, but from the sudden shock, the adrenaline from the job still in my system. He was just a guy in a dark hoodie and jeans, hands in his pockets. Normal, until he turned and looked at me through my windshield. His eyes, they were too calm, completely placid, like a still pond at midnight. I got out of the car, my hand instinctively going to the small of my back where I keep my pistol. "You need to move," I said, my voice flat. The guy just smiled. "Hey, John," he said. My blood went cold. He knew my name. In my line of work, that's never good. My fingers closed around the grip of my gun, and then they weren't. I was holding a banana. I stared at it, a perfectly yellow banana. I looked at him, looked at the fruit in my hand, and back at him. "What the hell?" I muttered, dropping it. He chuckled. "You won't be needing that, John." For the first time in a very long time, I felt a prickle of genuine, professional-grade unease. "Who are you?" I asked. He sighed like it was a tired question. "I'm here to make you an offer. You keep doing what you do. I'll send you names. You'll never get caught, not ever." I laughed, a short, harsh sound. "Right, and what's the catch?" His smile didn't waver. "You'll find out eventually. I should have gotten in the car and driven away. I know that now. But in that moment, he wasn't asking me to become a monster. He was just asking me to keep being the one I already was. And the promise, immunity. It was a professional fantasy, so I said yes. We shook on it. His hand felt wrong, not wet or slimy, just profoundly incorrect. Like shaking hands with a statue that had spent the day in the sun and the night in a freezer. A flash of light, a blink, and he was gone. The road was empty. I drove home in a silence that felt thicker than before. 2 months later, I found him sitting at my kitchen table. He didn't break in. He was just there. He slid a red envelope to me. Inside was a photo and an address. The target was a human trafficker, a genuine scourge. I did the job. It went smoother than any job I'd ever done. A witness who swore they saw everything suddenly couldn't recall a face. A security camera had a convenient glitch. It was like the universe was erasing my mistakes. The envelopes kept coming, every few months, for years. The targets were always the worst of the worst. Murders, abusers, kingpins. I started to feel not good but justified, like I was a necessary evil, cleaning up the trash. The catch, it seemed, was that there was no catch, until there was. About 6 years in, the name was a journalist. I did my usual digging. He wasn't a criminal. He was investigating a series of disappearances, people who'd vanished after talking about strange bargains. I pushed the doubt down and did the job. Then came a lawyer who specialized in getting people out of occult contracts. Then a professor who studied folklore about Crossroads deals. Then a priest. A pattern emerged, clear as day. They weren't connected to crime. They were connected to him, to the idea of saying no. The next time he appeared in my living room, I confronted him. "You've been using me," I said. He just smiled. "Of course I have." I asked him the question that had been eating at me. "The Crossroads wasn't the beginning, was it? How much of my life was you?" He shrugged. "Does it matter?" That was the worst part. It didn't, not really. A week later, a new envelope. The photo was of an old man, Arthur Hale, a retired bookstore owner. I watched him for a month. He fed stray cats, he read books, he was gentle. He had no secrets, just a quiet, simple life. When the devil appeared again, I had the photo on the table between us. "Why him?" I asked. The devil looked at the picture and his smile was different, almost admiring. "Because he said no to me 50 years ago." He leaned forward. "If one man can refuse, others might realize they can too." It all clicked. The journalist, the lawyer, the professor, the priest. They weren't targets because they were evil. They were targets because they offered people a way out, a choice. The devil looked at me. "So, will you do it?" I looked at the photo of the old man who'd lived 50 peaceful years on a single no. I looked back at the entity on my couch. And for the first time, I made a choice I knew was entirely my own. "No," I said. The The smile vanished from his face, not in anger, it just disappeared. He studied me for a long moment, nodded almost respectfully, and vanished. 3 weeks later, the police came. Every piece of evidence from every job I'd ever done, jobs that had been mysteriously clean, surfaced at once. Security footage was restored. Witness memories came back. It was like a dam broke. I was convicted on 12 counts of murder. Life without parole. I've been in here for over 40 years now. An old man. My heart is failing. Tonight, as I lay in the infirmary, he appeared again. Sitting in the chair by the window, not a day older. "Hello, John," he said. I was weak, but I managed a thin smile. "I think I won," I whispered. "I never got Arthur." In the end, I said no. The devil looked at me and he laughed. It wasn't a cruel laugh, it was almost pitying. "Oh, John," he said softly, "you still think prison was the punishment?" The air left the room. "What?" I breathed. He stood, looking down at me, and in that moment, he didn't look like a man anymore. He looked ancient, eternal. "The punishment," he said, his voice terribly gentle, "starts when you die." And he was gone. I'm alone now with the beep of the heart monitor. I spent my whole life not fearing death. Now I'm terrified of what comes after it. I made my deal, and he's finally come to collect. What would you have done at that crossroads? Let me know in the comments.